Okay, so let's look at first of all roots here. You've got these three types of roots: hips, shoulders and general. These just act as sort of grouping roots for things. I'll give you you would use these really in how you choose to lay out your rig from a control design sort of aspect. Let me just give you a quick little example here. What I'm going to do is I'll add a spine, okay, just a single spine, and I'll make it a child of the main root there. Okay, so that's grand, and I'm going to add a pair of legs here. Those are a child of the main root as well. Okay, let's rig the whole thing. So now, of course, when I move my main root like this, or more importantly when I spin it, the legs go side to side, but of course the spine is coming along for the ride as well. Yep, let's start again. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add my spine as before, child of the main root here. But I'm going to go in, I'm going to add a hips root here, which is a child of the main root. Okay, you can see its little marker appearing there. That'll do as a good enough spot for it, I guess. I'll just move up the spine there to make this a bit clearer. And I'm then going to add the legs here, add pair, and I'll make those a child of the hips root. Okay, so now we go into rig fit, and of course everything of course still goes with the main root just like it did before, but we've now got this hips root item, so if I'm wanting to swing the hips independently of the body, I can do that, and of course the spine doesn't follow along because it's in a separate hierarchy. And there you go. Of course you've got one for the shoulders here, so you might well add that as a child of, I don't know, let's have it as spine 2 here. Okay, so that gives you a shoulders root item there, and then you might add a pair of arms under the shoulders root like this. Okay, and when we rig fit, that then gives you a root item that of course has both your arms under it thusly. The chief places where you would want these are going to be for hips and shoulders, hence why you've got hips and shoulders roots. You've got the general root just in case you decide that you want something somewhere else. I could add a whole bunch of names for spines and heads and whatever else. Let me know if you think that would be preferable. But generally the only thing that differs here is just the name that is generated. There is, for instance, no reason why you cannot add a pair of legs and make them a child of a shoulders root. It doesn't break anything or change anything, it just is what it is. The only difference is the naming of such. A hips root, a shoulders root, a general root, they are all just roots. The only difference is the name that you get out here, so it's simply for naming. What you also want to take note of is the fact that roots behave as singular items in the whole pair singular thing. So if I add a shoulders root and I'm going to make it a child here of, let's see, where are we, the left elbow 1 there. Okay, so we'll just add that in and our root will pop up over here. So it's its bone, its controller is going to be a child of this, left forearm bone here. I'm then going to add another pair of arms here, which I will now place under that second shoulders root here. If you recall from the pairing, normally if I added a pair of arms to this arm, then the left one would be a child of the left and the right one would be a child of the right. But because I've put this root as an in-between, both are children of the root, and so therefore both are effectively children of this left arm. Let me just hit rig fit, and we can see that both of those arms are in fact children of this one arm. Clearly, of course, what we haven't got is the symmetrization correctly around the root of the marker display. They are symmetrical in a world sense. So just as was pointed out before, if you wanted the markers to properly symmetrize around this, then you would just parent them off to the appropriate root marker, which in this case is the shoulders root 2 marker, and is right there because it's the last thing that I added before adding these arms. So I parent both of those arm roots there, and they are of course now centered around this marker there, and thusly when we go back into rig fit we've got something that is looking like this, you see. So you can also use roots like this if you're wanting to add a left-right pair to a left or right item, but you don't want them to be split and repaired across the existing left and right item, if you know what I mean.